Hello, my dear friends. A very warm welcome to Raman Tutorial for English. My dear friends, this is Ramakant from Tumkur. Hi, dear friends. In this video, we are going to discuss one of the most important topics for all types of competitive exams. At the same time, one of the most complicated topics in English grammar, that is transformation of sentences. So my dear friends, before we are going to learn how to transform from simple to complex, simple to compound, we are going to learn. So first of all, what is a transformation of sentence, my dear friends? See, what is transformation of sentence? Transformation of sentence is a method of expressing the same idea or same meaning or same concept in different grammatical forms. So expressing the same idea, concept or meanings in different grammatical forms or different grammatical structure, this is known as transformation of sentence, my dear friends. See, we must keep in our mind while transforming of a sentence from one form to other form, so by that time, so we should not change the meaning or original meaning of the sentence. A sentence can be transformed into different forms without changing the original meaning of the sentence, my dear friends. So at the same time, a sentence can be transformed into different forms, especially from simple to complex or complex to compound. So at the time, so what we must do? So a sentence can be transformed into different forms by expanding a phrase or a word into a clause, my dear friends. So if you want to convert from simple to complex, by that time you must expand a phrase or a word. So what is a phrase? Phrase is group of words. For example, in the morning, at the school, on the function day, on the day of function, these are all group of words. So these group of words can be called as a phrase. So at the same time, what do we do, what do we need to do while converting from simple to complex? By that time, so we must expand this phrase or word into a clause, my dear friends. So at the same time, if you want to convert from compound or complex to transform from compound or complex to simple, at that time we must reduce a clause to a word or a phrase. This is the thing you must understand. First of all you must understand what is a phrase and what is a clause. Then it is easy for you to convert from what you can call simple to complex, complex to simple, or compound to simple, or simple to compound, my dear friends. So let us go and learn through formulas, my dear friends. So here one form is there. What is this? If a simple sentence is in participle form, if a simple sentence has a what I can call a phrase having participle, at that time in complex sentence we must use when and has, in compound sentence we must use and, my dear friends. So let us go and learn through examples. See here. Here we have a phrase of participle phrase. Seeing a lion, he ran away. See, this is a phrase, my dear friends. This is not a clause at all. This is a phrase. Expanding this phrase into a clause, we can convert or transform from simple to complex. See, seeing a lion is a phrase, he ran away. This is the independent clause. So this phrase can be expanded to a dependent clause. When he saw a lion, seeing a lion is a phrase, we can expand it into a clause. When he saw a lion, he ran away. So this is dependent clause, this is independent clause. So that's why this is a complex sentence. Complex sentence has one dependent clause, one independent clause, my dear friends. So again we can convert, you can expand this sentence or complex sentence into two independent clauses to get one compound sentence, my dear friends. See here, he saw a lion, it gives independent meaning. He saw a lion, it gives independent meaning. At the same time, here we have two independent clauses, my dear friends. He saw a lion, he ran away. These two, they can stand on their own without depending on other sentence or phrase or whatever it may be. That's why these two are independent clauses. These two independent clauses are connected by and, my dear friends, coordinating conjunction and. So you might have learnt what are coordinating conjunctions in the previous video, my dear friends. So fanboys are the code for remembering in what you can call coordinating conjunctions, my dear friends. So let us go and learn with the other example. See here, knowing the result, she started to cry. Is a simple sentence because this is a phrase, this is subject, this is verb, this is complement. So simple sentence we have learnt. With or without phrase, subject, verb, object or complement, or with or without phrase is the formula we have learnt in the last video, my dear friends. So this can be expanded into this phrase can be expanded it into a clause, my dear friends. As she knew the result, or when she knew the result, she started to cry. Phrase expanded to a clause. CLA clause, phrase expanded into a clause. So that's why this is independent clause, this is independent clause, one dependent, one independent, that is complex, my dear friends. So again, compound sentence. She knew the result, she started to cry, and is used coordinating conjunction. So like that. Hearing a noise, our dogs bark. Our dog barks. Hearing a noise, our dog barks. Our dog barks is the independent clause. Hearing a noise is a phrase. Expanding this phrase into a clause. How? When it hears a noise. As our dog hears a noise, it barks, or our dog barks when it hears a noise. See, my dear friends, complex sentence has two clauses, one dependent clause and one independent clause. Okay, so but here there is a provision in complex, especially in complex sentence. If you want to use a independent clause in the beginning, you can use, or if you want to use a dependent clause in the beginning, you can use. But in complex and compound sentence, so we cannot use that what you can call, so later independent clause in the beginning, or beginning independent clause in the end, we cannot use in compound sentence, my dear friends, but here it is possible. See here, we expanded these two what you can independent clause into a dependent clause. Our dog hears a noise and it barks, two independent clauses. See, one phrase expanded a phrase into a clause, especially independent clause. An independent clause expanded into a dependent clause, my dear friends. Sorry, a phrase has been expanded into a dependent clause. Again, a dependent clause has been expanded into an independent clause, my dear friends. So let us go and learn with the other examples. Simple, if a simple sentence has two and two form, in complex sentence we must change it into, so that in compound sentence very and very dash and, my dear friends. Let us go and learn three examples. A is too weak to pass the exam. This is phrase. Expanding this phrase to a dependent clause for complex sentence. Expanding this phrase to an independent clause to compound sentence. That's a simple thing. He is too weak to pass the exam. He is so weak he cannot pass the exam. He is very weak and he cannot pass the exam. This is the thing we must follow, my dear friends. So other example, it is too hot to go out for us. It is so hot that we cannot go out. It is very hot and we cannot go out. The road is narrow to bear the traffic. The road is too narrow to bear the traffic. The road is so narrow. To changes into so. To bear changes into that. That it cannot bear the traffic. The road is very narrow. See, too, so and very narrow. It cannot bear the traffic. These are the structures you must practice by using different examples to learn it, my dear friends. See, other structure. If a simple sentence has in spite of or despite, in complex sentence we must use although or though as subordinating conjunction. In compound sentence, but is used as coordinating conjunction, my dear friends. So let us go and learn through examples. In simple sentence, in spite of being wealthy. See, this is a phrase, this is not a clause. He was still unhappy. In spite of being wealthy, he is a rich man. He was still unhappy. Is the simple sentence. In complex sentence, we can use though or although. Though he was wealthy, although he was wealthy, he was still unhappy. At the same time, in compound sentence, he was wealthy, but he was unhappy. See, my dear friends, two independent. He was unhappy, he was wealthy are the two independent clauses because they do not depend on each other to have complete meaning. They stand on themselves to give complete meaning. That's why these two are independent clauses. These two independent clauses are joined by and. See, this dependent clause expanded to independent clause. A phrase to be expanded to a dependent clause to get complex. A dependent clause should be expanded to an independent clause to get compound sentence. That is a simple structure. If you follow, then it is easy for you to convert from simple to complex, complex to compound, my dear friends. Another example we have, see here. In spite of having worked hard, he failed in the exam. In spite of having worked hard is the phrase. Expanding this phrase to what? A dependent clause. Though he worked hard, in spite of having worked hard, changes into though he had worked hard should be used. Though he had worked hard, he failed in the exam. So here he had worked hard, but he failed in the. He had worked hard should be used. He had worked hard, but he failed in the exam, my dear friends. Like this, another. In spite of his poverty, he is happy. This is a phrase. Expanding this phrase to a dependent clause. Although he is poor, he is happy. Expanding this dependent clause to independent clause to get compound sentence. He is poor, but he is happy. These are the things you must understand. Simple, complex and compound, my dear friends. So let us go and learn the other structure. Simple. If a simple sentence is in the structure of because of or due to, In complex sentence, has or since should be used as subordinate conjunction. In compound sentence, so should be used as coordinating conjunction, my dear friends. Examples. Because of his ill health, he could not go to school. Because of his ill health, he could not go to school. This is a phrase. This phrase can be expanded to as he had ill health. Dependent clause. Dependent clause. And this is independent clause. As he had ill health, then what? Then he could not go to school, like this. So here this dependent clause expanded to independent clause. He had ill health, so he could not go to school. So is a coordinating conjunction. He could not go to school is a independent clause, an independent clause, my dear friends. Another example. Because of heavy rain. Phrase, expanding this phrase to dependent clause to get complex. Again, this dependent clause expanding to independent clause to get compound sentence. See, because of heavy rain, as there is heavy rain, there is heavy rain. So these are the phrase, dependent clause, independent clause. These things we must understand. Main clauses should be remain unchanged while converting from simple to complex, complex to compound, or whatever it may be, my dear friends. Another example. Due to heavy traffic, we came late. Due to heavy traffic is the phrase. Expanding this phrase to dependent clause to get complex. Expanding, so due to heavy traffic, since there was heavy traffic, we came late. So expanding this dependent clause to independent clause, there was a heavy traffic. It gives an independent meaning. And so is the coordinating conjunction. We came late is the another independent clause. So that's why this is compound sentence, my dear friends. Like this. Simple. If simple sentence has two infinitive, again infinitive phrase, that phrase can be expanded to that clause. Again, that clause can be expanded into independent clause by using and or for coordinating conjunctions to get compound sentence, my dear friends. See here. He went to market to buy vegetables. To buy vegetable is a phrase, infinitive phrase, to infinitive phrase. This phrase can be expanded to that he could buy vegetables. He went to market, that he could buy vegetables. That he could buy vegetables can be expanded to a independent clause. That is, he could buy vegetables. That means removing subordinate conjunction, we can get what we can call independent clause. If we remove one subordinate conjunction, then we can get one independent clause. Okay, so here two independent clauses joined by coordinating conjunction. So that's why this is a compound sentence, my dear friends. Next, we eat to live. To live is a phrase. So this phrase can be expanded to a clause. We eat so that is a coordinating conjunction, we can live. So that we can live is a dependent clause. We eat for is a conjunction, coordinating conjunction, we can live is an independent clause. So that's why two independent clauses joined by coordinating conjunction is a compound sentence, my dear friends. So like this, let us go on learn with the other examples. If a simple sentence has an adjective, that adjective word can be expanded to a clause by using relative pronouns to get complex sentence. At the same time, in such times we what I can call, so we expand that clauses into independent clause, and then these two independent clauses can be connected, joined by and. In such cases, my dear friends, let us go and learn 3 examples. I saw an old woman. An old woman is a old is an adjective, my dear friends. That adjective can be expanded to a a clause, my dear friends, to get complex sentence. See, I saw a woman is a what? A main clause. Who was old? Old expanded to a clause, my dear friends. What type of clause? Subordinate clause or dependent clause. This dependent clause can be expanded to an independent clause to get compound sentence. See, I saw a woman and she was old. Like this. There is a beautiful bird. Beautiful is an adjective. This adjective can be expanded to a clause, especially if you want to get complex sentence, you can expand it into a dependent clause. If you want to get compound sentence, you can expand it into a independent clause, my dear friends. See here, beautiful. There was a bird which was beautiful. Beautiful expanded to a dependent clause to get complex sentence. So like this, dependent clause can be expanded into an independent clause, so to get a compound sentence. See, there was a bird and it was beautiful, like this. So other types of examples, so other form, let us go and learn. Structure or form, let us go and learn, my dear friends. Having, after, and then. See, having smelled the danger, she stopped going there. Having smelled the danger is a phrase. She stopped going there. So this phrase can be expanded into a dependent clause to get complex sentence. See here. After she had smelled the danger, she stopped going there. Then if you want to get compound sentence, so remove this. What? Subordinate conjunction. So then you can convert it into independent clause. If you remove subordinate conjunction, you can get easily a dependent clause. She had smelled the danger and then she stopped going there. She had smelled the danger and then she stopped going there, and then is the coordinating conjunction. This is one, this is another independent clause, my dear friends. So like this, having won a beauty contest, she cried. After she won a beauty contest, she cried. Having won a beauty contest is a phrase. Expanding that phrase into a dependent clause to get complex sentence. So this dependent clause again further expanded to get independent clause, especially in order to get compound sentence, my dear friends. She won a beauty contest and she cried. By removing this, we can get an independent clause, my dear friends. So let us go and learn other form. If a simple sentence contains in the event of or in case of phrase, then it has to be expanded into a dependent clause, especially if dependent clause. At the same time, that we can convert. That means by that expanding that dependent clause to independent clause, there we can add and so as conjunctions, coordinating conjunctions to get compound sentence, my dear friends. Let us go and learn 3 examples. Simple sentence. In case of working hard. In case of working hard is a phrase. this has to be expanded to a dependent clause to get complex sentence. In case of working hard, if he works hard, he will pass the exam. So this dependent clause can be expanded to what? An independent clause by removing this. He works hard and so he will pass the exam, and so is the conjunction, coordinating conjunction. Like this. In the event of meeting him is the phrase. This is not a clause. So next, expanding this to a clause, my dear friends. In the event of meeting him, if I met him, I will help. If I meet him, I will help him. So again, expanding a dependent clause to an independent clause, then we can get compound sentence, my dear friends. I meet him and so I will help him. See, these are the some important structures while converting from simple to complex, again simple to compound. So whatever may be, if you are given a simple sentence, you can expand a phrase to a clause in complex, especially dependent clause in complex. The same phrase you can expand to an independent clause to get compound sentence. So if you are aware of phrase or clause, then it is easy for you to convert from simple to complex or compound, my dear friends. And then so from complex to compound, you must aware of dependent clause or independent clause. From simple, you must aware of a phrase and a word. So to get complex, you must expand phrase or word to a clause. Again, to get compound, you must expand a dependent clause to an independent clause. If you do, it is easy for you to convert from simple to complex and compound, or compound to simple, complex, or whatever it may be, my dear friends. So thank you for watching this video, my dear friends.